Alright, so Dana White last night announced that Alex Pereira was vacating the light heavyweight belt. He's vacated the division, vacated the title, and because of that, we are getting Yuri versus Ulberg for the vacant title. And yeah, Dana White announced this last night on his IG Live, which he took about 10 years to actually announce because they said like yesterday morning, Dana White's going to go live, and then it took about all the way into the night, and it was probably like 3 a.m. UK time before it happened. So yeah, Dana White needs to stop with these announcements. They ruin everything because they say he's gonna go live, but they don't give a time, so everyone's waiting. And it's like, are, are we a serious company like Dana White? Like, are we gonna be serious and actually run a schedule that the fans can stick to? Because that would be nice if you're gonna announce stuff. So yeah, but other than my rant about Dana White, so this fight, Ulberg versus Yuri is happening, as I said in April. And it's a good fight. Number two versus number three. Obviously, Ankalaev isn't in the picture, but he hasn't fought since he lost to he lost to Pereira. So these are the two rightful guys. Obviously, Ulberg, the Yan fight was like a bit close, but that you'd say robbery. I'd say robbery. I thought Yan won that, but whatever. So this fight, obviously, Ulberg is like a lot, very technical. He's quite good leg kicks, and he's very very sturdy. Whereas Yiri is kind of like loose. Like Yiri just kind of does his own the samurai stuff where he's kind of bouncing around and throwing like really unorthodox stuff. It's kind of like a matchup like that, like the orthodox guy versus the very unorthodox guy. And it's going to be good to see. I think Yiri will win. I'm kind of betting more. I'm leaning towards Yiri just now, but Uber does have a chance, and it is quite interesting. It will be a good fight because it will be probably a knockout, if I'm going to be honest. Like 5 rounds with Yiri, there's probably going to be a knockout. So, yeah. And that's the fight. I'm excited for that. And obviously, as I said, Alex Pereira is vacating the belt. So, Dana White didn't give any information as to why he's vacating, but we kind of all know. And if you don't know, I'll explain. Uh, Pereira's vacating because he's going to move up to heavyweight. This has been in talks for a while. Like for many years, everyone's been anticipating when is Pereira gonna go to heavyweight. He was at middleweight. He couldn't make the cut anymore. Obviously, the cut was holding him back. That's why he got knocked out against Adesanya. He moved up to light heavyweight, became the champ, defended the belt like 4 times, and then it's like then there was talks like, oh, maybe he'll fight John Jones. Like John Jones wanted to fight Pereira, and then so people were kind of speculating when is Pereira going to move up? He's the size for heavyweight. He can make heavyweight if he wanted to. So when was he going to move up? And it seems like now's the time that's happening. The UFC are needing a star. Pereira's the star. There's not really much going on at light heavyweight. He fought Yuri twice. He beat him twice. He just beat Ankalaev or avenged his loss to Ankalaev. And Alberg, it's like who really cares if Alberg fights Pereira? It's not much of a draw. Alberg himself isn't that much of a draw. No one else is really there at like heavyweight. The next challenge, heavyweight. Can he be like a Gan or a Aspinall? And that's kind of what I want to talk about now. Who's he gonna fight? Because obviously there's kind of 3 names at heavyweight which are relevant, or two, but one of them is like kind of, or two, but one of them's kind of relevant. So it was. This is by Ariel Hulwani. He said that there has been talks about John Jones versus Pereira at the White House. Obviously, this is like very low chance of happening, but there has been talks, and it says although John Jones fighting at the White House is not dead, there is not a ton of positive momentum in that direction. If that fight doesn't get done, Alex Pereira is expected to fight Cyril Gann. Don't know why I messed that up. So, yeah, so there's talks, not very positive talks, but there is some talks about John Jones fighting Pereira. And obviously, if that doesn't happen, they're going to do Gann versus Pereira. Gann versus Pereira for the interim belt while Tom Aspinall heals up. And yeah, this is what's going to happen. This is why he's vacated. So there's going to be. I'm assuming that the UFC is really trying to get John Jones to come out of retirement, really push him for Pereira. Because, it makes sense. rather than having it against Gan, because John Jones, they can stick it at the main event because John Jones is an American. Uh, he's an American against Pereira, who's one of the biggest stars. Literally, one of the two of the biggest stars in the UFC fighting each other in the main event, and one of them is an American, so it counts. So you can actually put it there, and he might win because John Jones might win against the Pereira. Whereas there was talks about what was it? Justin Gaethje versus Topuria fighting in the main event at the White House. However, I think it was yesterday there was reports about them as in the UFC or executives or whatever not wanting that to be because they wouldn't want Gaethje, or rather, they wouldn't want Topuria, who's a Latino, like he speaks Spanish. You know what I mean? That he resonates with South America, and obviously political tensions right now aren't very favourable between the US and Latin America. That's one aspect. They wouldn't want him in the main event because of that. And two, he's probably going to beat Justin. So they wouldn't want the Latino Spanish speaking fighter to absolutely kill the American Patriot fighter. Because that's probably going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Topuria's probably going to flatline Gaethje, and they don't want that. So they're trying to get Jones versus Pereira. Because Jones might win. He has a good chance of winning. And if that doesn't happen, they're going to do Gan versus Pereira. But I don't know how they put that as the main event, even if they put it on the White House card at all. Because it doesn't. Pereira's too big to not headline. They can't have Pereira on and not headline, if you know what I'm trying to say. At this point in his career, he kind of has to headline, and against Gan at the White House would make zero sense. You need to have if you're going to do the White House, you need to have an American in the main event. It just makes sense, right? I think they're wanting to do that anyway, so I think they wouldn't put Gan versus Pereira as the main event. They probably maybe save it for International Fight Week or something like that. Who knows? Or maybe in May instead. But yeah, and what was the other thing? Dana White. I've not got this up. I've not got the picture for this, but Dana White said that they are going to announce the White House fights this coming week. So this Tuesday probably they're going to announce the fights, I assume. Like, Tuesday is always the matchmaking day, and that's the day they put all the new fights out on a Tuesday. Most of the time. I don't know why he done it last night, but whatever. And they're probably going to announce the White House card. Probably going to announce the Pereira fight, what's going to happen for him next, because why not? I mean, he's already vacated, therefore they have a plan for him. So yeah, or they have somewhat of a plan. Obviously, this is the plan to get him to fight John Jones. I hope they get that done. I'd like to see that, because therefore, since it's for an interim belt, this is the thing. I feel like if it's John Jones, it won't be for an interim belt. It will just be for some like fake belt or something. Who knows? Maybe they could do it for an interim belt. I don't know, because if John Jones wins, will he fight or will he fight Aspinall for the undisputed belt? Like a role reversal of, John Jones was holding up because Aspinall was interim champ, and now it's the opposite if John Jones was to win an interim belt against Pereira. I don't think John Jones would want to do that, because then he's like committed to then fight Aspinall should he win against Pereira. I don't think that's going to happen. However, it's Pereira again, it's going to be an interim belt, and then he'll fight, or the winner of that will fight Aspinall when his eye's all healed up. So yeah, but that's all I was going to say about it today. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out. If you disagreed or you want to add something to what I said, please comment below. And thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.